Hello everyone. Welcome to NUUO Webinar. My name is Frank, and today I'm going to share with you some tips and new features for NVRsolo local display function. I'll take around 20 minutes to introduce and 5 minutes for Q&A. To ensure the quality of the webinar, I'll mute everyone from now, so if you have any questions, please type in the question window. Okay, let's see about today's agenda. Today we have 4 topics. First of all, I will introduce how to enable multi-stream function to save NVRsolo's CPU loading. And then I will introduce how to enable NVR embedding motion and event papa, which are the new feature in NVRsolo 2.1. After that, I'll tell you some general local display issues and how to do basic troubleshooting for it. Well, let's start to talk about the multi-stream function in local display. So let's think about a question. Why should we have to use multi-stream function? Can we just use original stream for camera and NVR? Well, in the past, it is probably makes sense. Most of NVR allow user log in and view camera video by one method like IE browser, and it has been defined a suitable user connection number, so the bandwidth and NVR's hardware CPU loading could afford the request. But nowadays, people like to view the camera from anytime and anywhere, and they also want to log in NVR through many different platforms as mobile device and personal computer. To accord customers' demand, many surveillance vendors develop some client software to log in NVR, like web browser, smartphone app, remote application, and so on. But there is a problem. When NVR streams out the image to this software client, the original stream will consume a lot of network bandwidth and CPU loading of NVR. It will result in the NVR overloading and show the lag video, even if the system unstable. So how can we keep the NVR being stable and fulfill many clients' demand? One of the best way is using multi-stream function. Software client could get the second stream or third stream to save the bandwidth and reduce CPU loading. To use multi-stream, not only NVR, but also camera have to support multi-stream function. However, how to know whether NUUO NVR supports multi-stream with my camera or not? As you can see, it is our supported camera list, and it also could be found on NUUO website. To ensure the camera could work properly with our NVR, we recommend user to see if the camera firmware has been upgraded or downgraded to the compatible camera firmware first. On the other hand, there are 2 types for multi-stream support. Support multi-stream only or support multi-stream setting. If the multi-stream color shows yes, it means that the multi-stream is fixed parameter. And if the color shows yes with asterisk symbol, that means user could change the multi-stream setting by themselves. So after you ensure the camera supports multi-stream, how to enable it on local display? Well, it is very simple and easy. Just need only one step. The multi-stream function is in camera setting page. You could disable or enable it. So far NVRsolo supports max 3 streams, so if your camera supports more than 3 streams, the other stream may not be displayed. And as I previously said, for multi-stream setting, you could adjust camera's parameter by yourself. After you enable multi-stream function, the multi-stream icon will be generated on the upper right of each camera channel. You could select different live view stream by click different button. Enable multi-stream looks like very simple, but if you have many cameras need to show second stream or third string on live view. Does Layer have any way could assign second string to live view quickly and easy? Well, the answer is yes. NVRsolo supports a function which called efficient local display. It could assign different string to different layout. The auto selection means that it will assign low profile string to small grid and the original profile to big grid. But if you change the default string to the other string profile, the selection will be changed to customize and didn't assign different profile to each grid automatically. Well, on first topic, I have introduced the benefit of multi-string and expressed how to enable this function in local display. In the next step, I'm going to introduce the new function of NVRsolo 2.1. We called it Embedded NVR Motion. As the title, you might be thinking, why could this function save cost? For traditional motion detection, we call it edge motion. When you want to enable motion recall, you have to enable motion detection in both camera and NVR. It would cost much time to check the setting between these devices, especially when you use local display to set up motion detection. For NVR embedded motion, it could help manager to save their time to do this setting, since it could trigger motion by NVR itself. You could accomplish all the setting in NVR and don't need to do camera setting anymore. And the second benefit of this function is that you don't worry about the compatible issue. If you use edge motion, you have to check the camera compatible list first to make sure this camera is compatible with NVR. And if there are some issues occur or motion detection doesn't work, you also need to find the root cause by yourself or apply a ticket to eHelp desk. It wastes a lot of time. In the meantime, you might be thinking, I just want to use motion detection. Why it looks so difficultly? Well, if you have suffered on this issue, the embedded motion probably could help you. Due to it is analyzing video on NVR directly, so there doesn't have any compatible issue. You don't have to waste a lot of time to do troubleshooting. Now, we know there are so many benefits for NVR embedded motion, but how can we use it? Actually, this function is easy to use. We decide the embedded motion setting page in camera setting as well. Therefore, if a user wants to set up motion detection, they don't need to find it on different page. As this screenshot, you could select all screen to be the detected area or customize the range of it. It doesn't have amount limitation of detection area, and there are 5 levels for detection sensitive and interval in the same page. You could adjust it to fulfill different environment. So after setup finish, let's check how to know this setting is working and couldn't have for so long. As you can see, we could simulate motion detection by press simulation button. When NVR detects motion, it will show the word on screen and indicate the trigger area. It is easy to realize whether this function is working or not. And it almost doesn't cost CPU resource. That means it will not affect other services like live view, playback, recording, and so on. So far we have finished the embedded motion detection setting, but after NVR detects motion, it also needs to trigger something, or it doesn't make sense. Therefore, we are going to introduce how to set up motion detection for recording on local display. For motion recording, it doesn't have any setting change with previous firmware version. For existing user, it doesn't have learning curve. User just select recording by schedule, then select the period of time, then all of setting is finished. And by the way, we also improve the function of time setting on NVRsolo 2.1. Currently, user could select recording schedule by mouse dragging. It could save much time to select the recording schedule. Okay, in previous firmware version, when the event occurs, user could find out the event happened by email, FTP, or the other ways which need another device to know what happened. For now, we have developed an intuition event action in NVRsolo 2.1. It's called local event pop-up. So what is the difference between it and the others event action? Local event pop-up is an event action which indicates the event type of screen directly. User doesn't need to double confirm it through other way. As the screenshot, after NVR receives or detects event, it will show up the camera image to one-by-one layout, and the event type will be indicated on the lower left. So far, this function supports motion detection and the camera I/O trigger only. And to use this function, user just goes to the display advanced setting and tick the event pop-up selection, and then this function will be enabled. If you want to extend the pop-up time period, it allows user to adjust it up to 60 seconds. After event finish and over the pop-up time, the layout will be back to original. Okay, I'd like to turn to the final topic. In the last topic, since we have encountered many customers suffer local display issue very often, therefore, we are going to share with you some experiences and how to do basic troubleshooting for this situation. So let's get started. The first issue we would like to share with you is that while the screen shows out of resolution, I believe that there are so many users have encountered this symptom. It is caused by that we have the limitation of resolution with NVRsolo local display. Even though we don't have the resolution limitation for single channel, but if you set up the camera resolution over the total decoded capacity, this issue will occur. So how to resolve this issue? As you can see, since NVR has total decoded capacity limitation, please refer to the recommended parameter to adjust each camera channel to the suitable resolution. And sometimes, user maybe find out the image is too lag on local display, even though they adjust the frame rate to 30 FPS. For this issue, since local display will cost CPU resource of NVRsolo, please follow our performance guide to adjust the live view and playback configuration to avoid this issue. For the latest issue we would like to share with you is that local display shows abnormal screen. Sometimes you connect the monitor and open the monitor power. Then you find out the screen doesn't show NVRsolo login screen. Instead, it shows some strange symptom like black screen, creepy color, or flicker image. For this situation, we recommend you to follow these steps to do troubleshooting. The first step is upgrading firmware to latest version. Since we have improved the HDMI compatibility in firmware 1.1.2 and later version, so it is strongly recommended to do this step first. After finished firmware upgrade, please check the video cable. In this step, you could replace the original cable to the other one, then see if this issue still remains or not. And there are some important things. If the length of VGA or HDMI cable is over than 1 meter, we suggest you to add a repeater to strengthen the signal. Also, we didn't test local display with KVN or cable adapter. Therefore, we cannot ensure that it could work properly with these devices. To avoid hardware issue, please use the straight cable to connect monitor to NVRsolo. On the next step, please see if your monitor supports one of these resolutions, or the monitor cannot display any image or show the image at incorrect location. You should be able to find out the information on monitor's datasheet or backplane. If the monitor supports this resolution but the video still at a strange location, please correct it by the Auto Adjust function on the monitor, or adjust it manually by remote controller of monitor. In this step, monitor will be adjusted to the suitable resolution. And if you don't want to use the auto-detected resolution, or this issue still persists, there is a method could exchange resolution through NVRsolo remote controller. Please use remote controller to press the 10 plus button and release it and press the point button to switch monitor resolution. The switch sequence should be Auto, XGA, 220, XGA, Full HD, then back to Auto. If it's failure, please apply a ticket on the eHelp desk, and we will help you to do further checking of the local display issue. As above expression, you also could find out more information of NUUO Wiki. It could help you to do troubleshooting while you're encountering any issue of NVRsolo. We will keep updating it monthly, so if you have any inquiry, you also could check NVR Wiki first. So to summarize the main points of today's webinar, for first topic, you should understand the benefit of monitoring. Also, have the ability to check the camera monitoring compatibility and enable it. For next topic, you should realize how to set up NVR embedded motion and trigger local display event pop-up without camera setting. And for the last topic, you should understand how to do general troubleshooting for local display. And here's the additional information of NUUO NVRsolo. If you have any inquiry about NVRsolo, there are a lot of great materials for you to understand how to set up and configure our product quickly and easy. Now we have 5 minutes for take a rest. I'd like to invite any questions you may have, and I'll be pleased to answer them. If you have any inquiry, please type in question window. Thank you. Well, since there's no further question, that brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope you found it interesting. We will send this PowerPoint by email to you later. Thank you for your listening, and I want to wish you all have a good day. Goodbye.